As we stand, the Dominican Republic, well, they've already punched their ticket for the next round. They're 4-0, flying high. Of course, they beat Canada as well, team their biggest threat in this group. Canada will play them, however, in the third window. Canada at 2-1, and as you can see, the Bahamas are struggling and in dire need of getting off the snide to breathe some life into their chances. Canada, they had some struggles in their first game going up against U.S. Virgin Islands. That was at least, I'd say, probably the first 15 minutes of that game. But they really started to find their rhythm late in the second quarter, and that carried over into the third. And really, it was pretty comfortable in the end for the Canadians. So, Melvin Edgem was terrific really in the first half. Didn't see Thomas Scrubb the other night. Not sure what the situation was with him, but hopefully we'll see him play tonight. Sean Pierre, Aaron Best, Jermaine Anderson, the veteran, Anthony Bennett, and Joel Anthony. So we've got a good mix of young guys with Canada, some of the elder statesmen that have been around. We'll look at their full roster in just a minute, as well as their starting five. And here is going to be the Bahamas as they are introduced.
The Bahamas, wearing number 3, Abel Joseph. Number 4, Michael Bain Jr. Number 5, Alonzo Hines. Number 6, Kentwan Smith. Number 7, Michael Carey. Number 8, Leon Cooper. Number 9, Shavano Cooper. Number 10, Robert Nortman. Number 12, David Nesbitt. Number 13, Jonathan Augustin Farrell. Number 14, Eugene Bain. And number 15, Jerron Burrows. Coaching the Bahamas, Coach Mario Boleg, assisted by Norris Bain and Wade Watson.
Okay, folks, well, we're going to have the playing of the national anthems for Canada and the Bahamas. Have a pause in the commentary.
Team Canada. Please remain standing for the playing of the national anthem for the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Okay, the national anthems have been played for Canada and the Bahamas, Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and we are just about 3.5 minutes away from tipping things off. As a reminder, 7 teams from the Americas will clinch spots in the 32-team FIBA Basketball World Cup 2019 to be staged in China. And it's, you know, going to be a competitive tournament. We're looking forward to it. We're going to take a look at the referees here first of all. Setting up there at midcourt. And at some point, we'll get some introductions. Here we go. Felipe Valenzuela, Leandro Lescano, and Jose Melgarejo. So 5 teams will go to the World Cup from Africa. 7 teams will also go from Asia, and 12 teams will go from Europe. And we've had World Cup qualifiers going on since Thursday. Now here's the Canada roster: Brady Heslip, Kezia Kajami-Keene, Adika Peter McNeely, Melvin Edgem, Thomas Scrubb, Javon Shepard, Deshaun Pierre, Aaron Best, Jermaine Anderson, Anthony Bennett, and Joel Anthony, of course, Gordy Herbert, who is former Olympian of Canada, has come back to coach the national team for this February window. Coaches in Germany, Fraport Skyliners. And for Canada, they're going to go with Brady Heslip, Kezia Kajami-Keene, Melvin Edgem, Thomas Scrubb tonight, and Joel Anthony. So Scrubb gets into the lineup. For the Bahamas, Abel Joseph, Michael Bain Jr., Alonzo Hines, Kentwan Smith, Michael Carey, Leon Cooper, Shavano Cooper, Robert Nortman, David Nesbitt, Jonathan Augustin Farrell, Eugene Bain, Jerron Burrows, and you can see their coach down at the bottom, and we will get another look at both of them, both of the coaches again. Michael Bain Jr., Kentwan Smith, Michael Carey, Jonathan Augustin Farrell, and Jerron Burrows in that starting 5 for the Bahamas. So we can hear the voice of Gordy Herbert there over on the bench on the left. There's Gordy. And he used a lot of players the other night in their win over the U.S. Virgin Islands. So I would expect the same tonight. He'll go deep to the bench. And I'm thinking we'll get a look at as well at the coach of the Bahamas. In any event, we're about ready to tip things off here. Canada and the Bahamas. Here he is. So Mario Boleg, responsible for calling the shots. So welcome, folks. We're in Nassau, the Bahamas. This is Canada in the red, taking on the host Bahamas tonight. And Kezia Kajami-Keene and already Melvin Edgem starting things off with a 3-pointer. Inside it goes, and good, strong, powerful move from Burrows. Edgem again. Scrub gets the rebound. Edgem passes out to Jamie Keene, and he drills the three-pointer. Well, it's interesting because really with Canada the other night, I don't think they really got it going until they started putting the ball on the deck and going to the rim. But tonight, they've started out and hit a couple of threes. Of course, these two teams have already met once up in Halifax, and Canada winning that one to get off to a winning start in the World Cup qualifiers. And then, of course, they traveled to the Dominican Republic in November and fell in that game. But they're going for 2 wins on this trip. And they start as considerable favorites today here against the Bahamas. Oh, good rejection. Joel Anthony getting those big hands up there. And again, Joel Anthony making life difficult for Augustin Farrell as he attacked the basket. Payne Jr. Now back to Augustin Farrell. He's got Joel Anthony on him. And a little turnaround jumper on the baseline. Edgem now hands it off to Scrub. Heslip for 3. Well, it's a three-point shooting parade here for Canada, folks. The basket must look large tonight. And the turnover. Edgem now pushes it quickly. Scrub back to Edgem. He gets it to the corner for Brady Heslip, and why not? Pass it out. Put up a 3. It's 4 threes to start the game for Canada. And Bahamas have to burn a timeout.
I specifically asked you, find that motherfucker in transition. And you should leave him. The TV. All of a sudden the game starts, people get better. Hell, we gotta go. We gotta do it. Let's go. If you give up easy 3-point shots like that, when you're in transition, you gotta find him.
They said it. Brady's man comes. Yeah, I know.
Well, folks, it's
open up. That Joel's got that option. Hey, get
here
your
goes
man.
some Gordy.
Hey, now you can shoot it. Now you can shoot it. Okay, get your man, shoot it. Hey, he gets a catch here. We gotta be open. They're gonna play one-on-one. One-on-one.
See, the shooting percentage is 4-5 from 3-point range. And Heslip is off to a fast start.
Stay in the man offense. Stay in the man offense. Okay?
Hit from the wing, then he hit from the corner. And then we saw Joel Anthony getting his first swat of the night. It's great to take you down to the huddle. Occasionally you might hear some colorful language, and we'd like to apologize for that, but nevertheless, there's nothing like getting into the real-life fire of what this competition is like, and you can understand why Coach might be a little bit heated having a player of the caliber of Brady Heslip getting so wide open. Augustin Farrell turns in. Edgem. Great defense from Canada. No execution at all from the Bahamas. Kajami Keene misses. And now Bahamas are trying to run. And run they do, and finally Burroughs cuts into that deficit. So a foul has been called here against the hosts. Heslip again, and the follow is good, and a potential three-point play coming up here from Melvin Edgem. One-way traffic right now, folks. Well, he's not capitalize at the free throw line, but it's a 14-4 lead. And the shot on the baseline is good. Gets it back to single digits. Heslip into the corner. Kajami Keene, and then Scrub with the runner on the baseline. Now the look ahead, and the Bahamas strike quickly there. And goaltending has been the call on the shot from Burroughs, so much better. Goaltending, goal interference called against Joel Anthony. Jamie Keene drives in, makes the layup. He had a shaky first half, I thought, the other night against the U.S. Virgin Islands, but then he was really good in the second half. Pass inside, and the rejection again from Joel Anthony. The shot was by Nesbitt, David Nesbitt, and now three-point attempt from Scrub is no good, and here comes the Bahamas. And Hines misses from deep. And the ball goes back over here to the Bahamas. Burroughs drives in, and free throws are awarded. Burroughs does not get any love from the rim there. So he walks off the line. And the second one is good. Passed inside, Burroughs comes up with it. And Bahamas striking quickly that time. and running the floor well. Bain takes the bump from Kajami Keene and goes to the line. So Eugene Bain, 29-year-old forward. And the first free throw is good. And the second one is good as well. So back to Brady Heslip now. Jermaine Anderson, number 12, into the game. The captain, as well as Anthony Bennett, who's checked in. And Heslip nails another three-pointer. I mean, in fairness, he is a full 2 meters behind the arc on that shot. Look at this. No, not 2 meters. He's a meter behind the arc. And you can only imagine what's going through the mind of the coach for the Bahamas. He's already mad enough, as we know, in that huddle. And he wants to get a hand in the face of Heslip. He doesn't want him to have any looks, but Heslip has started like a house on fire tonight. One of the more experienced players in this Canada team in terms of playing for the national side. Burrows pulls up and gets one to fall. And now Canada answer in kind, another three-pointer, this one from Melvin Edgem. Bahamas quickly inside. Anderson comes down with the ball. Gets it over to Edgem. Pulls up for three. Well, Canada feel like they've got it from deep tonight. They're certainly putting up a fair share of threes. Javon Shepard's now checking into the game. Burgess looks like a pretty good player. He played at Indiana University, Purdue University, Fort Wayne. Educational Public University. Anyway, here he is at the line. We've seen a lot of him. Makes one of two. 2:45 remaining. Look at Burrows. He's been active. He's got 10 of his team's 14 points. And nice drive. This time taking it inside. Burrows, count it. Boy, I mean, talk about carrying your team on your back right now. That's Burrows. He is doing it all for the Bahamas. Shepard drives in, takes the contact, earns a trip to the free throw line. Shepard bends the knees. I thought he played pretty well the other night against U.S. Virgin Islands. He's had some memorable games in the Basketball Champions League the past couple of seasons. Burrows, not surprisingly, has his hands on the ball again. Time faces a little bit of defense from Edgem. Now the pass cross court and driving in and blocked. Joseph trying to get some headway there. Runs back down the floor. Bahamas down 25-17. Deshaun Pierre's checked into the game. There's number 10 for Canada. Maine Anderson back over to Shepard. Deshaun Pierre over to the side. Well, I wouldn't say they really worked for a good shot there. Joseph. Here's Joseph. Michael Carey also in the game, number 7 for the Bahamas now. And three-pointer from Adika. Peter McNeely off target, but Canada get the rebound. But then the ball thrown, collected, and finished by Burrows. Good break from Bahamas. Three-pointer no good, and you have to wonder what Gordy Herbert might be thinking about right now. Canada made it kind of look easy coming out and hitting some jump shots, but here they are, leading just 25-19. Michael Carey dribbling around. Now it goes into Robert Nortman. And Robert Nortman is fouled. So Bennett picks up his foul, no doubt about that. Hey, there's a little bit of chip. There's a little bit of like, you know, we're going to prove you tonight we can play about this Bahamas team. It didn't look like that at the start, but they certainly seem to be turning things around here the last couple of minutes of this quarter. And Nortman now can make it a 4-point game. First one is good. Robert Norman's played in the NBL Canada, so probably some people familiar. Actually born in Toronto. Now 30 years of age. Went to Dalhousie University. Played for the Halifax Hurricanes, the Island Storm a couple of seasons. Last year, Gladiators Trier. And Windsor Express. Those free throws make it a 4-point game. Kyle Landry into the contest now. So plenty of time here, 10.4 seconds. Get a shot off. Jermaine Anderson spins down to 5 seconds. Anderson gets blocked by Nortman, but Landry there for the follow. And Bahamas giving their home fans something to cheer about coming back. It didn't look good early, but they played with a little bit of more fire over the last few minutes, and they only trail by 4 points after one. Well, look at some of the shooting stats here, and Canada have those 6 3-pointers, just 1 3-pointer for the Bahamas, yet it's only a 4-point game. So they really came out firing from deep, and just a 4-point lead. So Canada, a lot of work to do here, and the Bahamas, you have to tip your hat to them. See if they can sustain this little surge that they've made. You know, they're getting closer and closer, and I'm confident they're going to want to prove a point tonight here in front of the home fans, so they can win a game in this in these qualifiers to stay in the hunt. Had some big-time games all day today. Africa, Asia, in Europe, and in the Americas. Brazil winning against Colombia, for example. But we had some really close games in Europe. And, of course, we had that amazing, well, not amazing, but we had that big comeback from Japan against the Philippines in Manila. And the Philippines held on for a narrow win there. So it's all happening, the FIBA Basketball World Cup Qualifiers. And you can, I'd like to encourage you to upload the app. Look at this now. Pass down low, and the basket is good from Nesbitt. So don't look now, but the Bahamas are right in it, down by just 2 points. Terrific fight back. Now Kyle Landry tied up. Peter McNeely pulls up for 3. Front and back to the rim. Stays out. And Bahamas. And the foul called on Kyle Landry. Canada going to have to pick up the defense here. That's where it starts. Jean-Pierre coming out. Now the pass goes down low, and Peter McNeely comes up with it. Anderson into the corner now to Javon Shepard. Jean-Pierre loses it, but it goes to Kyle Landry. And here come the Bahamas, Michael Carey. Augustin Farrell trying to make that pass, but it was batted out of bounds. Thomas Scrub comes back into the game for Javon Shepard. And the jump shot on the baseline is an air ball from Carey. Now Scrub. Dechampierre catches and makes the shot and draws the foul. Much better from Canada that time. Looking inside. And Dechampierre's got some hops. He will go to the line now for a three-point play. A 5-point advantage for the Canadians. Trying to make it back to the FIBA Basketball World Cup. They didn't qualify for the event in 2014. They had played in 2010. Now the penetration and the drive and the shot from Michael Bain Jr. no good. Now the pass batted away, but Bahamas then throw the ball away. Brady Heslip back into the contest. Kyle Landry goes baseline. Heslip. Scrub. Drill it. Well, that's a 7-point lead now. Well, that shot by Hines was off, and now here come the Canadians. Heslip steps into it and misses the shot, but Landry there for the putback and the foul. So he will now go to the line for potential three-point play. Back up to a 10-point advantage for Canada. And traveling is the call on Eugene Bain. Scrub over to Heslip. Heslip takes it back. Now steps into it and hits another three-pointer. Well, Heslip is just, not sure why we're seeing that stat there. Apologies. Landry with the rebound. Over to Heslip. Heslip. 12 points, 4 or 5 from deep. And the three-pointer attempt is no good. Canada, are they going to get it back? Dika Peter McNeely was diving for that ball. The referee saying, I think they're saying it was over and back against Canada, but anyway, timeout on the floor. And both teams go over to the bench. Let's listen in.
We already run.
Listen.
Let's post the mismatch or do something else.
Listen. We cannot stop and believe in what the hell we was doing and just try to go one-on-one. When we go one-on-one, all they do is sit like they're in a zone and just clog the lane you did. Continue running your freaking offense. You got about 18 seconds. Let's take better shots. Bad shot scores with long rebounds and fast break for them. Yep. You only showing the 2-3 zone, but you matching up out of that. Hey, all right, just show it and match up.
Hey, let's go back to the matchup.
Hey, Tommy, Kyle, you're coming on the ball screen. You're coming through. Circle, all right? Adika, you're coming up. Brady, one more to the corner.
Corner is wide open.
All right.
There's the score, the leading scores for Canada. And one of Heslop's three-pointers. Interesting over on the Bahamas bench. He's right. Got to make them work on defense instead of just going one-on-one. And because the way they're going now, when they miss, Canada are getting out and running. Burrows looks to get some help defending him. Landry, and good strong shot from Eugene Bain. Peter McNeely over to Pierre. Landry to follow. Bahamas quickly. Get it up the floor. Cooper gives it back to Burrows. Burrows puts up a difficult jumper. Peter McNeely to Heslop. Well, Heslop brings it up top. And the hold on Leon Cooper on Heslop. Carey and Nortman re-enter the game for Bahamas. Joel Anthony coming back into the game for Canada. So Brady Heslop is at the line after the foul, and he will shoot two. As Canada again look to open up a decent lead here. 12 points now. Remember, getting to the World Cup is important in and of itself, but it's also what you have to do if you want to keep your hopes alive of getting to the Olympics. And the drive and the miss from Carey. Here comes Edgem. Edgem. Peter McNeely. Can't get the drop. And tying up Eugene Bain. Here it is again. Watch this. Well, Eugene Bain tied up Joel Anthony there. Aaron Best comes into the game. Nice move, Edgem, and fouled. So now he will go to the free throw line. Edgem had a great season last season playing in Italy with Umanaraya Venezia. He and, in fact, Aaron Dornekamp made All-Star 5 in the, the team of the year, so to speak, for the Basketball Champions League. Now he's in Kazan, Russia, playing for Unix. And Edgem gets the rebound, hands it off to Heslip. Scrub right down the lane, hands it off. Now Heslip comes back. Anthony with the rebound and the putback. Bahamas quickly to the other end and score. That was Carey. Back to 14 points now, under 2.5 minutes to go in the first half. And the foul called on Joel Anthony. First personal foul. Now Joel Anthony blocking that shot. Doesn't want the Bahamas player to see the ball go through the basket carry. It's like, nope, forget it. So now we're going to have another timeout with them. So as the players retreat to the bench, let's once again go down to the court and try to listen in. Okay, so nice, a little bit of pressure here from the Bahamas. I heard that right. And Joel Anthony scoring with that putback. Carey goes to the line and can't get the first one to fall. 2:11 remaining in the first half. And that's tough when you're trailing by double digits and you miss a couple of free throws like that. Best whips it over to Bright, to Heslip. Here's Best. Well, he knows best, doesn't he? reach around from Edgem to get a hand on it. Now coming in, making that shot was Alonzo Hines. And the shot is good. Another basket for Edgem. Starting to move those numbers up again. Joel Anthony misses. Well, the first time these teams played back on November 24th. Canada won it 93-69. Heslop had 22 points and Burroughs had 15 for the Bahamas. But right now it's an uphill struggle for the Bahamas. You're gonna have to try to get to halftime and regroup here. Nortman. And the miss, and now Edgem. Scrub has it. And Aaron Best, another three. Boy, he's stroking it, isn't he? Didn't really get to see the best of best the other night, but it looks like we're starting to see the best of him now. Final seconds ticking off the clock. Burroughs and Best flies in for the rebound. So interesting game. Canada stormed out to an early lead only to be reeled back in almost by the end of the first quarter. But in the second quarter, they owned it. And they go to halftime leading by 21 points, 50-29 over the Bahamas. See the shooting numbers, 8 of 15 inside the arc for Canada, but the big one is that 9 of 19 from deep. And also out rebounding the hosts, 24-15. Interestingly, the Bahamas actually have more assists than Canada, 10-8. So you saw that hashtag, "This is my house," folks. As you look at Heslop, 14 points, Burroughs 15. Heslop has those 4 3-pointers. The overall leading scores, Heslop, Edgem, Best with those 2 3-pointers quickly has become Canada's third leading scorer, 6 points. And well, that's that. So we are at the break. Hashtag FIBA WC for World Cup, and also hashtag "This is my house," folks. If you hit the social media, make sure you use those. Go to worldcup.basketball, or as we said, load up in your smartphone the FIBA Basketball World Cup 2019 app to get all the latest information. We're at halftime. We'll be right back. 50-29, Canada on top at halftime over the Bahamas here in Nassau, looking to go 2-0 on this trip to the Caribbean. (50-29), Canada on top of the Bahamas here in Nassau and looking to go 2-0 on this trip to the Caribbean, and also to improve to 3-1 in the FIBA Basketball World Cup Americas Qualifiers. A win over the Bahamas today would ensure that Canada would indeed progress to the next stage of the competition. Well, that would be the second round, but still a lot of work to do. They also will have 2 important games coming up. They would go up against the U.S. Virgin Islands in June, and they would go up against the Dominican Republic in June at the start of the 3rd window, and then Canada would take on U.S. Virgin Islands. So they want to get a win today, go have that feel-good factor, and go have the players go back to their clubs, and Canada think about how they want to approach that 3rd window, who's going to play. Remember, there will also be a September window, there will be a November window, and again, there will be a February window at the end of the 2nd round to finish up in terms of determining who is actually going to the 32-team World Cup. And also, as a reminder, 7 teams from the Americas will be advancing to the FIBA Basketball World Cup in China, where they'll have 8 cities hosting group phase games. And you know, this Canada team, everybody's talked about the potential of Canadian basketball for so long. You know, we've seen them in action. 2015, knocking on the door of getting to the Olympics, but couldn't quite get the job done in their semifinal against Venezuela. Then the following year, Canada took on France in that do-or-die game to get to the Olympics at the FIBA Olympic qualifying tournament in Manila, and came up just short that time as well. But I don't think it's a matter of if, it's more of a matter of when it's all going to start clicking for Canada, and we're going to see them not only in the big tournaments, but see them competing for spots on the podium. At least that's the general consensus in international basketball. But they want to come out here and put the, come out and be ruthless today here against the Bahamas and get the wind in their sails here. Second half underway, and the Bahamas driving in, missing early, and Joel Anthony gets the rebound, hands it off to Brady Heslett. Acacia. Back to Brady. Brady Heslett goes to work and ends up having to drive into the basket. Not the best possession for Canada. Now the pass down low. Heslett back outside to edge him now. Scrub. And Joel Anthony goes in, and I heard a slap. So the foul actually called on Burrows. Joel Anthony at the line, and misses the first one. Second one is good. And Joel Anthony, boy, he's he missed a rejection tonight. He's blocked a few shots. Now he comes up with the ball. Edgem gives it back to Brady Heslett. Now Edgem over to Thomas Scrub. And Heslett puts up an air ball. Don't often say that with Brady Heslett. And now the pass right into the hands of Keza Kajami Keene. Michael Carey penetrates. And it'll be Bahamas ball here. Well, Nigeria won all 3 of their games in their opening of the qualifiers, beating Mali today for the 3rd consecutive win. They had also beaten Rwanda, and they had opened with a victory over Uganda. Uganda, meanwhile, got a big win today over Rwanda. Carey scores here for the Bahamas. He's got 4 points. Senegal and Mozambique each finished with 2 wins and 1 defeat in Group D, with Central African Republic and Cote d'Ivoire 1 and 2 each. So a lot of action over the weekend, the World Cup qualifiers in Africa, where they have had teams hosting 4-team groups, both in November and in February. Now the pass, intercepted, and the pass back to Burrows, and he goes up for a little bit of a flush. And don't look now, but Canada lead by just 16 points. And steal and pass from David Nesbitt, giving the ball back to Burrows for the jam. Let's go down to the benches. Okay, well, let's go to this bench and see if we can hear the coach.
No, but you gotta come and run it. You gotta get him under control. Hey, if you sprint the position, you gotta steal on it. You sprint, you jogging. Hey, we doing good because the guys ain't coming in. Come inside, leave us. We all right. We all right.
Well, so far in the Americas, in this window, obviously you see Burrows coming in for the jam. Canada won decisively the other night over the U.S. Virgin Islands, 118-89. Brazil have continued to win. They won 84-69 over Colombia, and they were big winners over Chile tonight. Uruguay got the road win at Argentina, which was an interesting result. Those teams will be in action tomorrow. Now, Aaron Best back in the game, number 11. Thomas Scrub open, feet set, and that's good. Carey. The drive, and Bennett goes up for the block, but a foul has been committed. So Michael Bain Jr. goes to the line for 2. Foul was indeed on Bennett. So that free throw makes it 54-36. Best brings it forward, and stoppage in play here. Edgem's going to inbound it. Not sure why the play was stopped. Brady Heslip crosses midcourt. Now Bennett comes up high. He's going to set the pick. He's going to roll. Scrub. And fouled by Burrows. Burrows just walks over to the bench. So 4 personal fouls now on Burrows, and he just walks straight to the bench. So coming into the game is Eugene Bain, number 14. Heslip lets one fly from deep. Carey gets it for the Bahamas. Joseph. Now Bain just into the game but misses. Foul called on Edgem. A little runner stays out. Nesbitt over to Joseph. Bain. Joseph gets it before it goes out of bounds, saves it in bounds, and triggers the break for Canada. Brady Heslip looks over and says, do you think there was a foul on that play? So Abel Joseph goes out of the game, and Alonzo Hines now comes back in. Oh, beautiful pass. Oh, but ball kind of slipped out of Thomas Scrubb's hand. And now a foul has been called by Lezcano, the Argentinian referee. And that was somewhat fortuitous for Canada. Free throw is good. So Scrub takes it up to a 20-point lead. Hines. Bain. Heslip beats him to the ball, then throws it up to Edgem. And a little bit of hang time for Melvin Edgem. 13 points for him. Well, I think Nesbitt's pass gets it to Bain. Thought it was an alley-oop, but then Bain is able to get it back, and he goes up and scores and draws the foul. Look at this. Well, I guess it wasn't an alley-oop pass. It was just a difficult pass. Bain kept his eyes on it, and Edgem picks up his 3rd foul, so he's going to go out of the game. And Kyle Landry's going to come back in now. 4:49 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Bennett just lost it. And Bain is fouled once again. Look at this. Fouled by Bennett. I think he called the foul possibly because he lowered those arms. So Augustin Farrell comes back in now. So Eugene Bain, since he re-entered the game for Burroughs, has been pretty active. Second one is good as well. Best to Deshaun Pierre, who's in the game. Deshaun Pierre over to Heslett, and Landry with the rebound and put back. Well, that was an interesting shot from Hines. He put it up with his back to the basket. Well, in the game is Shavano Cooper. He's going to inbound it. We're in the white headband. So first look at him. That was a sweet pass. I'm not sure he was ready for it. Deshaun Pierre gets it to Brady Heslip, and Heslip just lays it up and in. Three-point attempt from Bain is off target, and Peter McNeely goes past midcourt. Now Hines. Cody Herbert wanted the unsportsmanlike. Watch this. You got to play the ball, and if you don't play the ball, you're putting yourself in danger of getting the unsportsmanlike. I didn't think that was that bad, to be honest. Well, Bahamas are going to take a timeout here. Burroughs is out of the game in foul trouble. And it's not a team that looks like it's making much headway right now.
Instead of bringing it all the way up here, drop it here. All right? Drop it below the tree. Hey, drop the press below the 3-point line. Who got the middle? Give them a less distance to be able to get this ball over. All right? You guys will run this, so you don't want to run it. You got the middle? I won't run it.
See the numbers there. Burroughs has the 17 points. Of course, he scored the majority of those in the first half.
And then out of this doing the matchup. So if you know what you're
Defensively, when they come up on the baseline, the guy on the ball, like Tommy does, they come out and they play. We got to really stunt and get back. Stunt and get back. If they drive it, I got to come with the body. We got to come down. Okay? Offensively, if things break down, simple horn. Simple horn. Okay? Hey, Brady, come here. Come here. Hey, next offense, we go horn side, but we make the pass. Brady, pass to Deshaun. Pass. Fake like you're getting it. Come off the screen here. Fake it. Okay? Reject. Reject. Hey, quick ball screen if you get it. All right? Go Canada. 1, 2, 3. Canada.
Well, I know there was a lot of high expectations. See Adika Peter McNeely putting the ball up and in. We talked a lot about him in the last game. Having a great season at MHP Reeves in Lewisburg. But Coach Boleg, who's also vice president of the Bahamas Federation, was really upbeat about his team's chances to get into the World Cup. Well, the three-pointer is good. So Hines knocks one in from deep. He said, I feel like we got the tools to get there, but if they're going to get there, they got to turn things around here pretty quickly. They don't want to slump to a fourth defeat. Deschamps Pierre. Now the ball hit out to Augustin Farrell. And Hines misses. Now Deschamps Pierre pushes it quickly. Oh, that is a backbreaker for the Bahamas. Brady Heslett, another three-pointer. He's 5 of 9 from deep. Well, Carey misses badly, and well, that challenge that we're hoping to get from the Bahamas, we're not really getting it right now as Kyle Landry goes in strong. Inside the final 2 minutes of the game here, or of the third quarter. Heslett had the ball knocked away. And Abel Joseph able to get the ball back and put it up and in. Jermaine Anderson, the veteran, gets it to Landry. Over to Adika Peter McNeely, and three-pointer is good. 3-point shot is good from Hines. And now Hines not only gets a foul called on him, he gets a technical foul. This is not a referee that messes around, Lethcano, I'll tell you. He calls the push. Well, they're over the limit, so 43.6 seconds remaining. And Jermaine Anderson misses the free throw, first one. Second one is good. Who's he going to choose to take? He's going to leave Anderson out there to shoot it. So he'll shoot the technical, and Canada will maintain possession. I mean, in this game, probably doesn't seem that important, but in the grand scheme of things, we've seen in these World Cup qualifiers, a technical foul like that is just so debilitating for a team's chances. We saw it happen tonight with Austria when they were playing Serbia. They were on the verge of a big upset. Couldn't quite get it done, lost by 1. But they had a key technical in that game. Allowed Serbia to go down and get a 5-point play. The best thing to do if you're a player is just don't try to remonstrate too much or show up the ref, because you're putting yourself at risk. It's awfully hard to do sometimes. I feel like a foul shouldn't have been called. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Canada right now cruising. Alley-oop pass on the inbounds. And Javon Shepard couldn't quite finish it. He gets it back. He lays it up and in. Carey flies in and scores right at the buzzer. Nevertheless, Canada in command here with a quarter remaining, leading at 76-51. Well, the way the game started, looked like Canada were just going to cruise on to a big victory, and the Bahamas actually showed some pretty good fight. They came back to cut the deficit, cut a double-digit deficit to 25-21 at the end of the first quarter, but since that point, it's pretty much been all Canada. They have been just rolling past the Bahamas team that just hasn't really been at the races today. Some of the highlights and plays like that, and you can realize, you understand why the Bahamas are struggling. Well, since coming into the game for Burroughs, Bain's been okay, but overall, that type of play there, the offensive rebound and putback for Canada. And of course, wide open layups, not getting back. It's been a ruinous to the Bahamas' chances. Now Burroughs comes back into the game with the 4 fouls. The Bahamas are going to play at the Virgin Islands on June 28th, and then they will play at the Dominican Republic on July 2nd. They won't have that far to travel, though. It's not that far here in the Caribbean. Canada have taken care of both of their games here, or at least they played the Dominicans in the Caribbean in the first window. There's Kyle Landry scoring. And so now they've played these 2 away. So they'll have a nice third window with a couple of home games. They haven't announced yet where those games will be, nor have they announced who's going to play in those games. We have to wait and see. And Nortman fouls Landry, so Landry will go to the line here nearly a minute into the first quarter. So Canada will be at home to the Dominican Republic on June 29th, and then they will be at home to the Virgin Islands on July 2nd. And then they will cross over if they do go ahead and advance to the second round, which looks like a foregone conclusion. And they'll play again in the September window. We don't know where yet. Carey drives in. Landry gets to Javon Shepard. That was a foul, Carey, no doubt about it. Second foul on Carey. Ryan Shepard gets his first one to go down. So we started on Thursday, the World Cup qualifiers in Asia and the Americas. And then on Friday, we had some more games, and the Europeans got involved, as well as Africa. Only Africa was having games yesterday. And today it's been Asia, been all 4 continents actually in action. Tomorrow we'll have some more European games. And also have some more American games. Oh, nice rejection there. But Europe has been the site really where you've had the closest games. A whole slew of them on both days so far, both game days. Here's Shepard driving in. Burrows goes up. The swat. Oh. Was that on the way down over the cylinder? No. You're up 30 points, it doesn't really matter. Just to drive home that fact today, we had Iceland winning 76-75 over the Czech Republic. That was the Czechs' first loss. And nice shot from Jermaine Anderson. Greece went to the wire with Great Britain. Another steal here for Canada. And an easy basket, Javon Shepard. Shepard continues to play well in the minutes that he gets. Bain puts it up and in. We had Finland scrape a 75-70 win over Bulgaria. Serbia won by just 1 point over Austria. Another three-pointer for Adika Peter McNeely, and all of a sudden, Canada turning on the style here against the Bahamas. I think this is what the fans wanted to see. Oh, a block was called. I thought he was well set. Well, yeah, he was sliding a little bit. Wasn't quite as straightforward as I thought, but still. So timeout called, and the players go over to the bench.
I will try to switch that press for us. You go inside of 1-2-2. All right? You all right? Right now you're getting the matchup, but everybody lost. You know the thing they got. No, they wasn't in it. He called it, but they never went into it. You get funny after the free throw. And you on top on the 1-2-2 into the matchup. Pressure the hell out of the freaking thing. Let's get it back into it. Let's go.
Hey, Adika here. Hey, we're gonna run. Hey, fist chest. So Jermaine, you got the ball here. Kyle, you're here. Corners are filled. Hey, you're coming up. You're coming up. You're gonna slip.
Bennett with 4 fouls.
Okay?
Kajami, Keene, and Edgem each with 3.
Fake like you're setting the screen and go. Okay? It breaks down.
Saw the frustration over there on the bench from the Bahamas, but they just haven't really been clicking today. If you want to know, I mean, if you talk about the big surprises, you have to say Croatia, one of the best teams, really the last couple of summers. I mean, they got to the Olympics. Remember, they won the FIBA Olympic qualifying tournament in Italy, beating Italy in the final. They have lost to the Netherlands. They have lost to Italy, and they have lost to Romania. I mean, they are going into their game tomorrow against the Netherlands at home. I mean, that has to be considered a must-win for those guys, or they're in real trouble. They're already in real trouble at 0-3. Payne Jr. comes out. Another surprise, well, Great Britain, 0-4, could have won all 4 of their games. Just haven't been able to make the plays. Adika Peter McNeely hits another three-pointer. And Burrows chases it. Adika Peter McNeely over to Landry. And he hits a little mid-range jumper. And the jump shot is good. A little runner. Nesbitt coming up on the 6-minute mark in the game here. Shepard. And that ball almost got away from Dechampierre. He hands it off. And an unsportsmanlike foul has been called on Bain. And Landry's like, why are you committing that foul like that here? Well, he swiped down. Watch again. Oh, yeah, come on. Give me a break. I mean, Lescano, okay, you're getting beat badly, but you don't need to do that. And you saw the immediate reaction from Landry as if to say, why? 94-56. And they're going to bring Landry out. I think that's a good decision because if you get hit like that, you want to get your own back. Anyway, I don't know if that's why Herbert has taken him out, but Bennett comes back into the game. Shepard puts up a 3, and now Burrows brings it up the floor. And goes back now the other way. Another surprise might be considered Germany at 4-0. They won their game against Serbia. Well, they also hit the road and won a tough one at Georgia today. Of course, Georgia don't have Zaza Pachulia right now, or Tornike Shingelia. Greece at 4-0. They've gotten the results they needed. You might say Estonia with 2 wins is a mild surprise, and also Finland getting 2 wins in this window. Not sure many people saw that one coming. Dika Peter McNeely misses. Bennett was going up for the jam there, but couldn't quite get it. And that ball goes back over to the Bahamas. .513 remaining. Almost it's a 39-point deficit facing the Bahamas. Now make it 37. Carey getting that basket. Under 5 minutes remaining. Bounce pass into Bennett, and he lays it up and in. And Burrows fouled before. That is Canada's second team foul. Carey powers his way inside and scores. Three-pointer is good from Jermaine Anderson. And Bain misses from deep. And now Canada running, nobody back for the Bahamas. That's happened before. 42 points, the rout. And you look at Canada's draw in this group, and my first reaction was, wow, that is a favorable group for Canada. And the way the Bahamas have played in this game, you can understand why I would think like that. They just have not been at the races. U.S. Virgin Islands, clearly a better team than the Bahamas. I mean, that would be, I would anticipate, obviously the Dominicans are going through at 4-0, Canada will go through, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. I just can't see the Bahamas on this evidence getting into that top four. And the games they should get tougher for Canada in the second round. You see Edgem missing the first free throw. Jump shot went out of bounds. That was an air ball. Aaron Best goes to the corner. Nice play inside to Bennett, and he's going to go to the line for another one. I mean, Nortman not going to be able to stop that. 105 already for Canada. I mean, they've easily hit the century mark tonight. Going off one foot. Abel Joseph takes it away from Jermaine Anderson. Nortman gets it to Carey. Thomas Scrub comes down with it. Boy, Edgem just said, I'm going to the basket, and you're not stopping this. Just laid it up and in. 15 points for Edgem. The big question for the Canadians, clearly, is how are they going to fare against the Dominican Republic next time they play them come June. Three-pointer's good. 1:47 to go. And my understanding is that Al Horford will be playing at some point, coming back to play for the Dominican Republic. It's interesting, you know, I mean, they're good without him. So we shall see. Obviously, if he's available and wants to play, you pretty much write his name into the lineup. And Bennett putting up a 3 there. I mean, the Dominicans have been an interesting team. You know, they've come out, I'm not sure who would have anticipated them winning all 4 of their games so far, but their signature win has obviously come against Canada. Johnny Keene brings it up the floor. And their 113-85 win tonight over the Virgin Islands was impressive. The Dominican Republic, that was Bennett. You know, it was a little bit harder struggle for them the first time they played the Virgin Islands, but tonight they just rolled to a big win with Edward Santana, their veteran, getting 20 points, 6 rebounds. There's the fast break here with 30 seconds, almost 30 seconds remaining. Elo Vargas had 12 points today. Anyway, we've had some stats issues tonight, folks, so sorry I haven't really been able to keep you up to speed on who's done what for Canada and the Bahamas. Okay, so Johnny Keene drives in and now earns the trip to the line. Johnny Keene makes both free throws. And nice finish. And Taze puts up the last one. Johnny Keene and misses. But Canada, I mean, really, the only thing that was in doubt for them, there are 2 moments in the 2 games that they played. U.S. Virgin Islands started strong, relatively strong, and took a lead. Tonight, well, the Bahamas came back early, but really Canada just blew them out, 113-67. So Canada, yeah, I see Michelle O'Keefe down there with the Canadian flag. Look at that, Canada with the numbers, 16 threes, 21 of 33 inside the arc, and 23 of 31 at the line. I mean, it was just pretty much domination, 47-31 on the boards. So the question is, how will the Canadians now, the players will go back to their clubs and their teams, and how are they going to fare when they get back together for June-July window. Heslop had 19 to lead the scores. See Peter McNeely with the 2 steals. Anthony had those 3 blocks. He was getting up tonight, wasn't he? Edgem finished with 15 points, Landry 14. And it was Burrows, Carey, and Bain with 17, 15, 11 points respectively for the Bahamas. So 113-67, Canada with a big win. Here's some of the highlights. It's one of Joel Anthony's 3 blocks. Burrows getting out and running. That was a highlight from the first half.